This week, we're going to be discussing the grand reopening of Teal Studio and what that means for us as creators and a business.
Yeah.
Roll that intro.
Okay. That's not it. Did it work? There it goes.
So we started this year off thinking that we kind of had a plan of everything and we understood the way that we wanted to move forward, and we were like, yes, this is our final form. And then here we are 2 months later and we're like, no.
Redo.
Actually, we have no idea what we're doing.
I think we kind of know what we're doing. We just, I don't know. It's ever evolving, it seems like. Ever evolving.
I think that's just the way that the space works.
Yeah.
The online presence always is changing.
I think if you want to do better, you have to always be changing. You can't just get stuck in your ways. You have to kind of always be trying for the next thing, you know?
Yes.
Try to always get better.
I agree.
So, yeah. So, we're basically making a lot of changes, which we were already planning to do this year. But there's just like been new, like as we've been kind of making all of these changes that we had already planned, like doing a lot of like rebranding and things like that, we're realizing there's other areas that we wanted to address and make changes to.
As a brand, we kind of wanted to kind of take a minute and kind of figure out like what are like what kind of like what people should think about like when they hear Tealfish Studio, and like what kind of a community that should be and what kind of people would be involved, and just like how to like grow that community as well. Like, so we're trying to factor in like all these different portions of like figuring out like what we are.
Yeah. I mean, initially when we have so many late night discussions about what we're doing as a company and as a brand, and we realized that the last couple of years we've really evolved as just a being, an entity, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like when we first started Tealfish Studio, it was pretty simple. We were like, oh, we both love design, we were both good at it, so we're just gonna make a design company. And that's basically what we were for the first few years of having Tealfish Studio. We basically just took on commissions from people. We did branding, we did like wedding invitations, like basic graphic design type stuff. And when the pandemic hit, we started doing more streaming, and it just kind of grew into something different.
Yeah, so it evolved into like the whole thing with like the YouTube channel, and also evolving into like starting like the Discord
And the live streaming, and then the music took on like a life of its own. And
then the other things are like the online shop, so like the Etsy shop and the Threadless shop.
yeah, so we just kind of really expanded into a lot of different creative areas
very quickly.
And we had originally we were set up originally just to be a graphic design studio, basically. And then we started doing more with like video production and graphics and motion graphics. And we realized we do way more than just simple graphic design.
Yeah.
Like we do a lot of different creative things. I don't even know how to define all of the things that we do.
I think it's kind of best summed up as just like we just like multimedia.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of formed a multimedia company instead of just a
Graphic
design and art, which was the original kind of premise of it.
Yeah. So it's definitely changed. So along with that change, we had to kind of reevaluate, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? who is our audience, like those major questions that you
Mm-hmm.
usually ask when you're like when we're doing branding for a client. These are the things that we ask, like, what are you? What are you trying to accomplish? Who's your audience? And we had to kind of re-answer those things for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like it's a lot harder when you're looking at your own stuff and trying to answer that versus like looking from the outside in for like a client.
yeah, it's definitely different, and you have to kind of really think about all the different avenues that your business touches. And we realized we were kind of all over the place. So we were trying to figure out how do we make that make sense. So when we kind of already talked about this, but like when we were talking about like figuring out the updated branding for our YouTube channel and what we define ourselves as, we're just creative people that love to do different creative things and always like to explore new things and learn new things. And we wanted to take people on this journey with us of creativity. And we had to kind of change how we were approaching like the videos that we were doing. And then we realized that's not the only thing we needed to change our approach on. We had to change it on how we're streaming. We had to change it on just the general content and just the community vibe, I guess, overall. So those are the things that we've been working on. It's been a little crazy.
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks here and probably going to be busy for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're going to start with kind of the updates that we kind of made to our Discord. They kind of just happened overnight. It's something that we were discussing, and then Rosemary decided that she would have a sleepless night, and she just like redid like the whole Discord.
I have a tendency to do this. Like when we start talking about something and I'm like, oh, we finally figured it out. Like Brandon's like, okay, let's sleep on it. And I'm like, no, let's just do it.
I just want it done right now.
Yeah. I just feel like, okay, like because we have such a limited amount of time. So like when we figure something out, I'm just like, okay, let's go full force and let's just do it. So that's what we did.
Mm-hmm. So overall, what we wanted to do is kind of create like a more of a inviting environment for like people that are creative. They're into like music production, photography, art, drawing, painting, like all those things. So we're trying to make a environment where all those people can kind of get together and kind of work together as well.
Yeah. Originally our Discord was kind of just honestly like a free for all. We had like way too many channels. Like we
Yeah.
had a lot of different channels with like a lot of different things, and like I think we just kind of we spread things a little too far. It was a little too, I mean, kind of like everything that we do. Like there's just too many things happening. It
Yeah.
was just a lot. And we wanted to kind of make it more focused, I think is the way to say it. Plus like there's just we wanted to kind of, because we know that we do so many different things, and we know that we're in a little bit of a unique position because a lot of the creators that we see are doing like one of the things that we do.
Yeah, they spend their whole time just dedicated to like either photography or drawing or painting or just graphic design. It's just like they have that single focus, and we're just like across the board, we're involved in so many different things.
Yeah, we definitely do not have a single focus. We're
Nor,
very unfocused.
yeah, nor do I just want a single focus. I think I'd become super bored.
Yeah, we definitely would get bored with just doing the same thing all the time. So, because we know that we as people and as like a brand, like we're all over the place. We do a lot of different things. We know that not everybody is interested in everything that we do, and we want to make sure that when we're putting out like announcements on things that we're doing, we're not being annoying, I guess. As far as like advertising something that people don't really care about. Like there's a lot of people that are in the Discord because they really like maybe the music that we're doing on Twitch or something like that, but they don't really give a crap about like they don't really crap. They don't really give
They
a
don't
crap.
really crap.
They don't really
That's
give a
not
crap
good.
about like maybe the shirt designs that we're doing, or they don't care about
The social media stuff.
the
Like,
social
yeah.
media stuff. Like they don't care about some of those things. So we don't want to kind of there's a lot of people that make a Discord and they have so many announcements and so many pings that people end up just muting them, and they don't see anything that the Discord is doing because it's just too much. Like there's been times where I'll join a Discord and my phone is blowing up, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to leave this Discord or I have to mute the channels." And then I never go back and I never like see what is happening, and maybe I am missing something I was interested in, but I'll never know because it was just too annoying. And we didn't want to be that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of separate it and make it so that it's set up in a way that people will only opt in to what they want, what they're interested in.
Yeah. So we just wanted to make the user experience a little bit more simplified. That way it's kind of like, oh, I'm interested in this stuff right now. So I'm just going to be notified for this. And then over time, they may change what they want to be like notified about, but that's up to them.
Yeah.
We want to leave that up to you.
Yeah, definitely. And we're kind of expanding the avenues that we're kind of building as a community. So like we were mainly on Twitch, and now we've been doing a lot more on YouTube. We were doing a lot of videos on YouTube, but now we're kind of expanding to the like live streaming on YouTube as well. And then we're also, now doing more stuff on Instagram and trying to engage with like the artist community on there. And like we talked about this last podcast, we want to do a lot more creative things, a lot more drawing, and a lot more art that we haven't really gotten an opportunity to do. So that's like a whole nother avenue and a whole nother like community that we want to like kind of nurture and like be part of. And the music community and stuff like that too. So, but we want to kind of keep them in separate little sections so that if you're interested in music but you're not interested in art, you can just join the music part of the Discord. So we can talk about how we split up the Discord too, so that makes more sense. Like the different sections. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So for the notifications, we set up one specifically for going live on Twitch. So that will have the live notifications from Rosemary's channel, my channel, and also the Tealfish Studio channel. We also have the live on YouTube notifications. That also, I believe, will have video ones, right, too?
Yep, that's the videos and the live notifications.
Okay. Then any music releases on our artist channels, she goes by Rosemary Teal, and I go by Trila White. So those will be under there. Then we have our shop updates. So anything that gets added to our Threadless or Etsy, we'll kind of put there. And then finally, social media, which at this point in time mainly is just Instagram.
Yeah, we kind of just shifted over to just really doing Instagram stuff at this time, and digging more into like the artist kind of community on there. But each of those is a separate channel, and when you join the Discord, you can select like what you want to be alerted on. It will only ping you with an alert if you join, like if you decide to like opt into that section. So you won't get alerts like every time we go live on Twitch if you don't care about Twitch, or you won't get any shop updates if you don't care about shop updates. You'll still be able to see them, but you won't like get an alert. So you can kind of go in and check it if you want.
Then kind of for like the main section, we also changed how that works as well. So that's kind of an opt-in area as well, similar to the notifications. So we broke that apart into the Tealfish Creative Club, which is kind of a maker space for photography. We also added a creative club to that as well. And we have like a monthly prompt that we put out at the beginning of every month. And everyone can kind of take those basically it's like 3 different things. We'll have, what is it this month? It's cabin, telescope, and
Mountain.
mountains. And then everyone can have their own take on that. It just has to include those 3 things. So it's a good exercise for your creativity. Then we also have a beat maker section. So we have place to post your favorite music, music production things. And we're going to kind of dig into kind of creating a songwriting area too, similar to the Creative Club, but we haven't fleshed that out 100% yet. But that's kind of in the works right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, since we both love gaming, we have the Tealfish Game Crew. So I often post really good deals that I find on video games and kind of things I'm looking forward to. And we just talk about the current games. We have kind of like a section for Wordle, like the word games.
Like all the puzzle games and stuff like that. And then there'll also be like the community game night section too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping that we can kind of do that a little bit more. And we're thinking the way that we've kind of focused these sections is that way it helps us, because then we're like staying on top of like being able to kind of do more with, like, we want to do more with music, we want to do more with art, and we want to do more gaming too.
Yes.
So this will kind of help us to kind of do more of those things. And then the people that join those sections will have like a little bit more of an active area, we're hoping, as people join them. And then everybody that joins the Discord will just automatically be in like the Tealfish fam tag, basically, which is just the general chat area. So everyone gets access to that, but these like specialized sections, you kind of just opt in by the roles as you feel that you'd be interested in them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're hoping that this is a good approach. We're hoping people like it. We haven't seen a ton of activity in it yet, but I think probably a lot of people have muted some of our channels and maybe haven't even seen the alerts or the updates to it yet. Or maybe they're just not interested, which is fine, because we feel like going forward, we want to have it set up in a way that new people that join like can find like a nice space that they can kind of engage with people that have similar interests and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's kind of an abrupt change, but we feel like that it's good for setting the groundwork for the future of the Discord.
Yeah. We also made some updates to like the rules and how things work in the Discord, because we wanted to make sure that it's like a really nice, like clean, inclusive space that people feel comfortable being there, and they're not like inundated with alerts and random like things from other creators or other people in the Discord. So we felt like this would just hopefully build like a nice, wholesome kind of community.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
And then should we talk about the Twitch YouTube stuff?
Sure.
Or anything more you want to say on the Discord things?
I think we kind of already covered the other points that we have for the Discord. So yeah, I think we can move on to the live stream stuff.
Okay.
Unless you got anything else.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, because we talked about the songwriter sessions in the Creative Club, we also are having a draw with me session once a month. I don't know if we talked about that yet.
Oh, we may have talked about that somewhere. I feel like we've talked about it somewhere.
In the last one, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But we're basically also gonna have like a monthly like draw with me. We have like a voice channel in there. That way we can kind of work on those prompts or work on any kind of project, really. And then you can kind of chat with other creatives and stuff. But we're going to basically set aside about an hour a month to kind of make sure that we're in there, and then people can kind of join as they like. It's not going to be like a rigid schedule either. We're just going to make it kind of casual, and then people can kind of drop in as they want. And then they can also just go into that space at any time and talk with other people.
Yeah.
So
that's what we're hoping for, is people just kind of utilize that space on their own.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely be there at least once a month. So hello. Was that my glasses on the wall?
Those are your glasses.
I hate when that happens. So it's like you just don't account for the extra distance.
That you need.
Yeah.
So funny.
Okay, so next up, we have some updates to our Twitch and YouTube stuff. Yeah, so about the live streams, we kind of want to reset the expectation of what a Tealfish Studio stream is. So prior to all of these changes, um, I had kind of control of the Tealfish Studio channel on Twitch. So that would just be kind of me most of the time, and then Rosemary would be there occasionally. And
Yeah.
then this kind of came up recently too, where we're like, this doesn't really represent what the brand is. Like, this should be about the collaborative work that we do that's like creative, like when we do our creative corner, where we're doing like drawing or art or any other kind of traditional media, or if we're doing like emotes like we were last night.
Yeah.
So that should just be like more the creative side of the business.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about it when we first were setting everything up, and I think some of this stuff is just you kind of have to learn it as you go
Yeah.
because we knew we wanted to have like the Tealfish Studio Twitch channel for sure. But we were like, okay, well, what if we want to do like gaming content and we want to have like, we want to create videos or something out of that? When we originally were streaming on Twitch, we weren't even on the computer. We were doing console gaming.
Yeah, on the Xbox.
So we basically were pulling like the videos from the Xbox to kind of mesh those together. And I had like my own tag, like gamer tag, obviously, and like you had yours. So we're like, oh, maybe we do need to have two separate channels so that we can kind of do the same thing. But then we realized that I guess doesn't really make sense. Like it makes sense to be able to make that type of content when you want to have like the two different perspectives, but overall, for like branding, it doesn't make sense. So
yeah, because we want people to think of Tealfish Studio and think of both of us, not just me.
Yeah, and then like, we realized too, for somebody that's not familiar, like I think now, like most of our our community knows that Tealfish Studio is the two of us.
Yeah.
But for people that are just stopping by the stream, like just randomly, they're just gonna think, oh, it's this guy Brandon's channel. Like that's an interesting name. Like they're not gonna realize
it's like
what it
tied
is.
to
Yeah.
like an actual business.
Yeah. So yeah, we wanted to kind of rework that a little bit to make more sense. So
yeah, so that's kind of where the Brandon Teal channel arose from.
Yay!
So I have my own channel now on Twitch. I was on there last Wednesday, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
Played a little bit of StarCraft 2.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing, because I said this at the beginning and I was like, are you sure you don't want your own channel as well? Because like when I was like, okay, I'll do like the Rosemary Teal channel, I'm like, maybe we should make the Brandon Teal one. And he was like, no, like I can just do the, like, that's too many accounts. Like,
yeah, because I was like, it's split across 3 accounts. I was like, that's kind of a lot, but that probably was the right thing to do.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's just, you learn it as you go.
Yeah. We always take like the most difficult path.
Yeah, we definitely do. But because people will just opt into what they want. That
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing that we're going for, is like we want people to want to be there, like not feel obligated to like, oh, they have 3 channels, we need to join all 3. Like if you don't care about my music, like my own music, then don't join the Rosemary Teal channel. But if you're interested in what we do together, then join Tealfish Studio. If you're not interested in gaming, don't go to Brandon's channel. Like you can kind of pick and choose. We're not forcing anybody to engage in content that they don't really care about. And this way, like we can kind of focus in on Tealfish Studio does this stuff.
Yes.
And then if you're interested in our side projects and the things that we
then we have these going on.
Yeah. Then we have all this other stuff. So we're kind of trying to do that across like all of our platforms.
Yeah. And it's a lot, because a lot of changes, as you have seen.
Yeah, for sure. But this also will give you more freedom too, to be able to kind of stream what you want to stream.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes like I get in this spot where I'm like, oh, it's the Tealfish channel, so maybe I should do this. And then it's like,
You feel
I feel
forced to stream a certain type of thing.
yeah, and then I feel kind of guilty when I like boot up a game because I'm like, but it's like sometimes you just want to play a game.
Yeah. But now I think this will work a lot better. And then if we do want to do like gaming streams or something like that, now we each have our own channel and we could still combine it and put it on like the Tealfish YouTube or whatever if we need to. Or like when we were doing like the Tealfish showdowns, like the art challenges, we can do those on our 2 separate channels. And then depending on what it is, if it's something where we can be in like the same room together, we can do it on the Tealfish.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it gives us a little bit more flexibility in how to put the content together too. So it's going to be a lot to manage, but I feel like it's the right step. I hope.
I hope so.
I hope so.
We'll find out eventually, right?
We're thinking big picture, I think.
Yeah.
We're not thinking short term, we're thinking long term, because we were talking about that the other day. We're like, did we just kill our Discord? Because it's so quiet in there with all the changes that we made. And like not a lot of people have been joining like the specialized sections. But we feel like for the long term and like the big picture of what we're trying to do, it'll eventually get to where it needs to be.
Yeah. And I think that's good keeping them all like kind of separated because then everyone can just kind of join whatever they're interested in.
Yeah, we were talking about, what did we call it? Notification fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to minimize that as much as possible.
Yeah, Rosemary hates notifications.
Yeah.
She has to clear all the red dots out.
I do. If I see any like red dots, I have to like...
Then she looks at my phone and she almost has like a panic attack.
I can't. I don't know how you do
because
it.
It's just
stresses me out.
It takes up so much time to clear them every time, and honestly, doesn't matter.
But that's the thing. That's why, like, even for myself, like, I know, like, I'm like, okay, I want to like join this person's channel or whatever on Discord because I like them and I support what they do. But there's so many alerts that I have to mute it and like, or you
can just ignore them like me.
I could, but I mean, it's the same thing.
I mean, it is, but I don't need to actually go in and clear.
Yeah, true. But like you can either like people will like mute the channels or they just ignore it and like they don't go in and check what you're actually doing versus getting fewer notifications because they're only opted into things they actually care about. And then they're like, oh, there's an alert. I know I just opted in for art stream, so there must be an art stream. Let me go check it out. Like that way, hopefully like they'll be alerted to just the stuff that they are actually genuinely interested in, and we'll get a little bit more engagement that way.
Yeah, I think it works in our planning. I don't know if it works in reality, but
we'll find out.
Yeah, so I mean, all this stuff is kind of like open to like discussions too. So like, if anyone has any input or anything like that, like just let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you think, and if you think it's a good direction, or if you think we're making a dramatic mistake. What's the word? What is something mistake? Like a tragic mistake? Do you know what I'm talking about? Detrimental mistake?
A grave mistake?
A grave mistake. That's what it is. I couldn't remember what it was called. A grave mistake.
Odin says in the YouTube chat that he likes the new setup. They haven't had a chance to play around with it yet, but it sounds great.
I'm glad that you think so.
That's awesome.
That's what we're hoping, because I think we just want to have it be like more focused to what people actually care about, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of leaning into the video side of the updates. We kind of figured out the differences between the Tealfish Studio channel and then the Rosemary Teal music channel and then the Trilobite music channel.
Yeah, these are on YouTube. So go ahead, you go.
Okay. So basically we're going to end up using the music channels for fully completed songs. Anything that could be like either a live version, a demo, and then obviously the full releases and the music videos. And then we're still going to have some music content on the Tealfish Studio channel, but it's going to be kind of more of either the songwriting process, like the inspirations for it, diving into like maybe how some of the sounds were made, kind of the more like behind the scenes of like how the song was created.
Yeah. And then if you're looking to just hear the actual song, whether it is like just a demo version or it's like the final one, those will be on the actual music channels.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can kind of separate, because that was the other thing we were struggling with, is like what content goes where, because we do so many things.
Yeah.
So we're like, where do we put all of this stuff? So
Yeah, so we had to make a bunch of rules for ourselves.
yeah. The cool thing is, like for the podcast, because we also have an Unbounded Artistry podcast channel that we don't use
Anymore currently.
But YouTube actually added a podcast section, so we have like a podcast section for Unbounded Artistry, because we had moved everything back to the main Tealfish channel. So we're gonna keep it on here, and everything will be under that little podcast tab now. So that's pretty cool.
We may come up with a use for the other channel eventually. We were kicking around some ideas, but stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we're thinking about what to do with that one.
Yeah. Oh boy, this is another big change, and it's always like something that's like, it's gonna be kind of a lot as you kind of discussing it, but then when you actually see it like written down, it's like kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
So this is kind of our new schedule for live streaming.
Oh boy.
It's a lot. So do you want to go into this one, or?
Sure.
All right.
So we had, when we were our previous, like when we started out the year, we're like, okay, we're going to do one stream on Twitch each. Like you can do the Tealfish stream, I'll do the Rosemary Teal stream, and then we'll stream together on YouTube on Fridays. So this was like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
3 days.
3-day situation. But as we were making all these changes, we're like, does that honestly make sense? Because then we're only streaming once, really.
Yeah.
On the Tealfish channel, and sometimes it's just gaming, which has nothing to do really with like.
I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Like, but like
I won't
if you
do it anymore.
But like if you look at it from like a Tealfish branding perspective, and we're like, okay, if somebody just drops by that stream, they think it's just a gamer. They don't realize like that we do art and we do like design and we do all of these things. Like they're not going to get that from dropping by that one stream. So we're like, I don't know if that makes sense. Plus, it's only one stream a week, which is not good because we used to stream a lot more on Twitch.
Yeah.
And then like the same with like my music channel. Like I used to stream a little bit more on that. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that, so it's still going to be just once, but we'll see where this goes. So we basically decided we needed to add more streams in, and then we split the personal streams and built those into the schedule too. So
yes.
Oh gosh. So basically what we're going to do, Brandon is going to keep Wednesdays. So he's going to stream on his own personal channel, and that'll be on the Brandon Teal channel on Wednesdays. So he's going to do like gaming. Sometimes he'll do some music and maybe sometimes some art. We'll leave it open to kind of like whatever. I think the personal channels, we can kind of just do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
It's basically for our personal interests, and we can kind of just do whatever. Thursdays, we're going to switch that over from the Rosemary Teal to the Tealfish Studio channel on Twitch. And then this is going to be like digital design. So we're going to do probably like what we did last night. We did like emotes. Maybe we're working on a client project and we're working on like logos or branding. Maybe we're working on animations. Maybe we're working on like a workbook, something like whatever. Or maybe we're just doing like digital drawing or something. So that's going to be the Thursday Tealfish stream. Fridays will still be our YouTube streams, and we're going to kind of cycle through the podcast, our art streams, our music streams, and our gaming streams. So like every week it'll be a little bit different. So what we're hoping for is you get a little bit of that each month. And then we had kind of debated if we were going to continue doing the live streaming on YouTube, because we wanted to try to do more on Twitch, because that's what we used to do. But we decided it's probably a good idea to keep doing the live streams on YouTube, because we do want to kind of grow in different directions and not just kind of put all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give it a little bit more time. So we'll keep doing that. And then Saturday mornings, we're going to stream on Twitch. Well, I don't know if we're going to call it morning.
It'd probably be
like afternoonish.
Maybe afternoonish if we're being honest.
So Saturday afternoons, we used to do this before, so we're bringing it back. So we used to do the Creative Corner streams on Twitch under the Tealfish channel. So we're going to do that, and that's going to be like traditional art. So like painting, drawing, maybe doing like more of like the clay stuff that we were doing.
Any kind of like physical like art.
Yeah, any physical art.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday nights is going to be where my music stream is going to go. Which makes more sense for me because I tend to stream later. And it's just better that the late streams for music fall on a weekend because I have to work really early in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. But we're hoping that this will be better. So this way we're basically streaming 3 times a week on the Tealfish channel. Some of them are Twitch, some of them are YouTube, but it's still 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then each of us has like 1 day a week on our personal channels.
Yeah.
And then if we want to do more, if we have time, we can do more on like the individual channels too.
Or together on the Tealfish one.
Or together.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes down to how busy our schedule is. So.
Yeah. Like this is a lot for like the live streaming. So we've added a lot more.
Yeah.
But we think it's necessary. It's probably a good thing to do. But we also have a lot of stuff that we do off stream for the business. So we have to be really careful and selective about what time we're spending where.
Yeah. I mean, when we look at our like breakdown of like every week, it's just packed.
Yeah. If you saw our calendar,
it's packed.
You would be cringing because it's ridiculous. We never have any time for anything. And then I don't know if you can hear the crying dog, but we have 2 senior citizen animals that we take care of.
A lot of care.
That need a lot of care and a lot of attention. So that takes up a lot of time also. So last topic we have right now.
Yep.
You want to go for it?
Sure. So the last topic for tonight's podcast is future-proofing our brand. Basically, we realized that some of the changes right now might be kind of stunting our growth. Maybe some people aren't happy with the changes, or some people might just leave the Discord completely, like because we kind of just blew it up overnight. So I mean, it's either whatever they do, that's fine with us. It's just we want to make sure that we're setting like, as we said, like the groundwork to create like this community that we're trying to build.
Yeah.
We saw that things were kind of stagnant at the beginning of the year, and we were like, we got to do something. So
yeah, like
we've just been making changes across all these platforms.
Yeah, like I don't know, like we just haven't seen like the type of growth that we want to see, and we can't just keep doing the same thing because people are comfortable with it because it's just not going anywhere. So we wanted to just kind of make some drastic changes and things that we think are going to be beneficial for our future. So hopefully people will be understanding about those types of things. We also changed like even the social media stuff because we had kind of separate accounts for that. So now we kind of combined, like got rid of like the individual accounts for the social media and just kind of made it just the Tealfish Studio where it represents both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it's, because we don't really do social media outside of like the businessy stuff.
Yeah.
So we combined it to just the Tealfish stuff, to try to do that. But yeah.
I had a thought and then it just disappeared. I hate when that happens.
His thought is gone.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, we used to have like separate kind of what is it? I forgot the name of it. Twitter account.
I forgot the name of
Yeah,
it.
because we don't really use it anymore.
No.
But yeah, we had separate ones, then we combined it, and then we basically don't really use that one anymore anyways.
Yeah.
But
Maybe we'll post things on there like eventually or like once in a while, but I don't know. We're just not thrilled with the platform at the moment, so we're kind of not really using it very much.
We're just focusing on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I guess the last thing we have is just that we know that the change is like difficult to make for some people, but it's something that we kind of had to do, and we have to look towards like our goals and what we want to accomplish.
Yeah. And like we kind of just want to go down like this new path and find things that are fulfilling to us. Like we talked about I think in the last podcast, we wanted to do more like of the drawing and like set up our content in a way that we did more drawing and more art and stuff like that, because we realized that was something missing. That was something that we really wanted to do. So we wanted to make sure that that was factored into everything we did. I just see this dog crying.
Yeah, she's freaking out.
I feel so bad. She's such a baby. She just wants me to hold her 24/7.
Yeah.
When she wakes up and like I'm not like there, she just starts crying. I don't know. This is a new thing that she's been doing the last couple months.
I know. It just started.
I'm gonna have to get. We were jokingly talking about this, but I feel like I seriously need to get one of those like hoodies that has the little pouch, so I can just have her in my pouch at all times, so she can.
I think she would absolutely love that.
She would love that.
She would love it so much. You'd be like a little kangaroo.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's barking.
Oh no. So
it's escalating.
We'll just do the last couple of comments and then we gotta run so that I can feed her and snuggle her so she calms down. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. We're coming, Madison. Relax.
Yeah, I think these are kind of basically things that we already covered.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we already covered that. The only other thing that I have to add is when we were talking about Discord, I am gonna be making a separate account there too. So I'll be going under Brandon Teal on the Discord, and then we're gonna keep the Tealfish one for kind of just like any kind of announcements and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Brandon's right now is under the Tealfish name.
So that way it kind of clarifies things a little bit more. That way you're like, who's actually posting under this or whatever. It just makes it a lot more transparent. Yeah,
that way we'll have that, and then the two of us will just be like admins on there, basically.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
She's whining so much.
I know. I know. Okay.
Poor doggo.
But yeah, that's basically all of the updates. So if everybody's been noticing these crazy changes and they're like, what the hell are these people doing? This is what we're doing.
Yeah, basically, we're just trying to figure out how to kind of focus like our goals and figure out what our brand should be. And this is just a lot of stuff that needed to be updated.
Yeah. Because we were kind of, I don't know, like we just really realized that like how much Tealfish Studio has changed since we started it, and that if we want to go, like what direction we want to take it in, and if we want to go in these directions, like what we need to make time for. So yeah, add in more drawing, add in more art, add in like more music and stuff like that.
And that all goes under more streaming.
Yeah. So I get it. Like some people have like said like that they weren't crazy about the changes. They weren't happy with the changes and things like that. And I totally understand, but I think it was necessary for us to do that. And hopefully they're understanding in the future. And if that means that they don't want to be part of it anymore, that's totally fine. But I think these were things that we needed to do.
Yeah. It's just kind of like we were saying, is just like future-proofing the brand and making sure that what our goals are, we have the groundwork laid out for that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens going forward. But I'm pretty excited about the changes. I mean, it'll be good.
I feel like by far this year is like the biggest like year we've had in terms of like focus and like changing things. It's just like, I don't think any other year has kind of had this many updates and
this much more like momentum behind it.
Yeah.
And I just like feel excited about like getting back to like doing more art and more drawing and like that's been like a big piece that was like missing for me. So like we've been doing like a lot of music over the last couple of years, which has been great, but that's not all we do. So I'm excited to get more into like doing like the art and the drawing and like getting more practice in and getting better at like those skills and all of that stuff. So
Yeah, we just got a couple new sketchbooks too.
yeah.
So
we're starting new sketchbooks. We had already kind of made like a bunch of updates to like our Patreon as well, to kind of go with everything too. So hopefully, you know, everything kind of like works hand in hand and it's just good stuff going forward. But yeah, I think that's it.
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
All right. So if you are watching this podcast, it's also available in audio formats on, oh boy, here we go. It was like Google Podcasts. I don't even know what they're called anymore. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher.
Any place you can get a podcast, we're probably there.
Yeah.
You can also check out the podcast tab on YouTube.
Yeah, if you want to watch the live stream version.
Yes. So thank you again for listening or for watching. We hope this was informative for you, and let us know what you think about all of these changes and if you've got any feedback for us. But until next time, may your artistry always be unbounded. Bye.
Bye.
Hello?
It stopped working.
Oh, no.
Why did it stop?
Wait, oh, because I'm clicking the wrong thing.